In this episode of Pawtastic Friends, the Paw Talk, Michael and Melissa tell us about Huck, McEnroe, Darling, and the upcoming annual Pawtastic Friends fundraiser. Hello, everyone. Tom Fox back again with Michael and Melissa Novelli for another episode of Paw Talk. Hey, guys, how's it going?
Hey, Tom,
Hi,
what's
Tom.
up? We're excited because it's time for Paw Talk.
Great. So, I asked you guys if you would tell us some stories about some of the dogs you've worked with or are you working with now. So, who can you tell us about today?
So we'll start with two of the dogs that inspired Pawtastic Friends from the beginning. We'll start out with Huck. And Huck, we met long ago when we volunteered at the local shelter. And Huck was a volunteer favorite who had spent way too long in the shelter, a little over 4 years, and kind of stole our hearts. And we walked him every week, and he started in the enrichment training program, and then he got sick in the shelter, so he needed what they said was a hospice foster. So we searched high and low to help him find a foster, and we were lucky enough to find a foster who eventually ended up adopting him. He had a neurological disorder, so enrichment training helped him with balance. It helped him with his steadiness, his mobility. He did some swimming in the aquatics program. So it really helped him in a sense with the things that he needed. And he was adopted by a wonderful lady who just treated him like the king he should be. And he had passed away back in 2020. So on our memory wall, Huck is actually up there along with his buddy McEnroe. And they overlook the arena, kind of like, hey guys, don't worry, you're in good hands. They got you covered. So,
So, Melissa, one of the things I've heard you talk about over the years is you could go into a shelter, you could go into a facility, and you just knew which one was the one to pick. Was Huck that way for you?
oh yeah, yep, he was a
And
gem.
how did he respond to the training?
Oh, he did excellent. When they originally said they needed a hospice foster, he ended up probably having 3 years of the best of his life. Actually, maybe even 4 years. And he just did incredible. Yeah, his balance was a little off and stuff, but he was still able to function and still able to enjoy life. He loved agility, he loved puzzles. So he just really thrived, and thankful for his mom who adopted him. So he did have his happily ever after and ended up getting out of the shelter.
And that's why we call it the enrichment training program, because it really truly does enrich these dogs' lives. You know, a lot of these dogs are in boarding or in shelters, and it was 24/7 unless a volunteer comes and walks them. So them coming to our center is enriching their lives. I know we were going to talk about Boo, but Boo is 13 years old and he lives to come to this place. You know, the foster parents, thankfully he's in a foster home. He comes here and they said, you know what, it makes his life better. He looks forward to coming here like all the dogs do. But Boo's really slow and steady, but he loves coming here.
It's changed his quality of life.
Yes.
And you can see that literally every day in every way.
Definitely. Definitely.
So you mentioned his buddy McEnroe. Tell us about McEnroe.
So McEnroe was this white pitty, and he loved tennis balls.
Oh.
That's what he lived for, playing fetch, playing fetch. And McEnroe had been in the shelter for over 5 years of his life. Finally got adopted, and he at 10 years old. And the people who adopted him, we stayed in contact with them. I still do. And she said when they went in there, they wanted the dog that had been there the longest, the dog that, needed out the most. And he just thrived and lived a great life, and just enjoyed with his tennis balls. He was a swimmer. He loved the pool. He was the type of dog where you take him out and all he wanted to do was play fetch, or all he wanted to do was lay in the baby pool and like soak up the rays. So he loved going to enrichment training. His favorite thing, like I said, was doing not so much rewards with treats, but rewards with tennis balls. So he loved agility. He was smart as a whip. He knew all of his basic commands and just needed a chance. And as dogs get older, unfortunately, most people don't want seniors. But this couple came in and they said that they wanted the dog that needed it the most. And he loved to swim in our aquatics program. And he also passed away, and he's up there on the memory wall with Huck.
So tell us a little bit about the difference between, well, for instance, my wife and I have 3 rescue dogs, but we always tend to get dogs that are either puppies or less than 2 years old. What's the difference in that experience in a dog like Huck or McEnroe who's older, but yet you're bringing them, first of all, enrichment training, but then giving them, like you said, a forever home?
So with them, everybody wants the puppies, everybody wants the smaller dogs, and most people just walk by the kennels when they're older. So for them, enrichment training was almost just a way to keep their spirits up and kind of like give them some hope. So for them, it was not only just the learning capacity, but it was the opportunity to go out, get out of their kennels. I mean, I couldn't take it. I couldn't take seeing them in there for years in, a shitty condition, excuse my language. But it just changed their lives.
So, Michael, I ask you to maybe tell us about a current dog you have. Maybe who is it? Where did you find him or her? Where are they in their training program? And where do you hope their forever home might be?
So right now we have over 50 dogs that train here a week, and Melissa and I were talking about it. And Darlin, 4-year-old dog that is a Chow Chow Terrier mix, which actually has a beautiful brindle color. And the thing with Darlin, she had a few rough years. I'm just reading what the rescue put on their page. She had a few rough years, found herself in a high intake shelter that was threatened by a brush fire. So we're thinking she was in California. And then she was adopted out just a year later. Unfortunately, the family got evicted and she found herself back in the rescue. There's a lot of stories like that, with the housing crisis and, people losing jobs. These dogs, they don't know what's going on because they're in a home and then the next minute they're in a shelter or boarding, and it's stressful. So that's why, like, when Darlin comes here, in fact, I had sent you a video on our Facebook page of Darlin training, and you see the dog happy, and it's just like this is great, because 24/7, most of the time, if they're in boarding or in a shelter, they're in a kennel. It's barking, it's loud, it's stressful. We've had dogs come here for the first time and they go right to the bed, and for an hour they just decompress, and we're fine with that because it's enriching their lives. That's what this center is for.
And for Darlin, if I can interject, Darlin, this is the only outing that she gets a week. It's her
Yeah.
time when she comes here on Mondays.
She's in
She's in
boarding.
a boarding facility, and this is the only time that she leaves to come here.
So, what have you noticed about her training? Is there things she's more adapted to? There are things she really enjoys? You talked to us about, I think, McEnroe and the tennis balls. Does Darlin have anything like that that she really enjoys you can really share with her?
The agility training. She loves the agility
Yeah.
training and working
Well,
with Keith.
and when she works with Kim.
And she
And
worked with Keith in the video. Yeah.
Yeah, Parker.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when she first came here, she was very fearful. All she wanted to do is go by the back door. She just wanted to get out. And it took probably 3 weeks to build up some confidence and to build up trust. She wouldn't take treats. She wouldn't even drink water. And now, she comes in, she'll drink water, rather than get treats as a reward after doing a good job. She prefers to get human affection. Once she gets to know you, praise, like, good job, darling, good job. And we're still working on getting her comfortable with new situations and new surroundings. But it takes a little time with her to warm up. Not that she's like the type of dog like that shows any aggression. She's just very fearful. So now she starts to come up to me because she's got some familiarity and some consistency.
And this facility helps build trust and gain confidence for these dogs. That's why people are like, what's with the agility course? They go through the chute, they go up the A-frame. It teaches them, hey, I can do this.
Let me focus on that word trust, because in my corporate profession, we talk about trust a lot. But why don't you talk about trust for a dog? And you told us about how you had to build up trust with Darling, but how do you build up trust, and what's the importance of trust to these dogs that you work with?
Well, we have a lot of dogs in the program that have come from unthinkable conditions and situations. So sometimes trust is letting them come out and we walk with them, but we don't touch them because we don't want to, they're still fearful, or we let them come to us. Sometimes building trust with them. We have a dog, Will, and Will is very sad and very afraid of things. Well, after spending time with our volunteers with boarding buddies, now Will plays with toys for the first time. He squeaks them. So there's all different levels of trust. We have some smaller dogs that you can't get near, so we let the smaller dogs come to us. Same thing with the bigger dogs. Sometimes it just takes them a moment and has to be on their terms.
Especially dogs that have been abused or abandoned, because like, what happened to my human? What happened to my family? So they come here and, temporarily we're their family until, they can find another home. Like when she was just talking about Will, he was here last Wednesday for our nose work. So after his nose work session, he hung out in the office with me. So we were becoming like, hey, it's okay.
We've got a little bit of time left, so let's change the focus to your upcoming fundraiser. I know this is a huge event for you guys, so tell us about when is it and who's going to be there entertaining guests, and why everyone should come to the Pawtastic annual fundraiser.
So we started our block party many years ago at one of the salons that Melissa managed, and we're called it the Block Party. So why not? So we invited some local entertainers to come. They donate their talents and really draw people out. We have vendors, we have food trucks, we have an incredible volunteer team. We have 3 of the team members here. They've been here since 9 o'clock preparing raffle baskets and the silent auction items, all to raise money, because a 5,000 square foot facility is not inexpensive for us to run. So fundraisers like this and corporate sponsorship really helps us fund what we're doing here. So we've got incredible entertainment. The Swing It Girls, Joey Saccone's performing. Rob Garrett, the #1 Neil Diamond tribute artist in the world, is performing. He finishes all of our events. We have Dance Fitness that's going to be here. Who else is performing? We're still loading up our entertainment. DJ Dig Dug, he provides music for us every year. So it's going to be great. We expect, 500 to hopefully 1,000 people this year. We're going on the news, we're promoting, we're blasting social media. So it's all about the community helping these dogs, because that's what it's all about.
So once again, date, time, and location.
Sunday, April 23rd, Pawtastic Friends Enrichment Training Center for Dogs, 2200 Pamela Lane, Las Vegas, Nevada. Major cross streets are Sunset and Eastern, 10 a.m., 4 p.m. If it goes later, it goes later.
And Michael, where can people go if they want more information on Pawtastic Friends?
You can go right to our website. It's pawtasticfriends.com. They can also see the enrichment training videos of the dogs that come here and train, and go to our swim aquatics at pawtasticfriends.com.
So guys, this has been a great episode. I can't wait till we get together again. And thanks so much for taking the time to visit with me.
Tom, thank you as always. We greatly appreciate you helping us spread our mission and helping these wonderful dogs that so deserve it.
This is Tom Fox again. I hope you will consider a donation to Pawtastic Friends. You can find out more about them by going to their website, www.pawtasticfriends.com. I look forward to visiting with you again on another episode of Pawtastic Friends, the Paw Talk. This podcast is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.